What's up, everybody? Kyle Barboza here, bass player, music educator. And let's talk about the fact that for many of us, maybe taking a course in music theory or something like that is, either unfeasible or it's just not something that you're interested in. But I think that there's kind of a backdoor way of learning about music in a deeper way that can be really useful and practical to bass players. And so I'm going to tell you how to do that today, because I think you can do it just by learning songs. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to learn a bass line, and then we're going to practice extrapolating as much musical information from that bass line as we can, that we can then apply to other songs in any style, really. Okay, so here we go. If you like this video, please consider subscribing to the channel, and please consider becoming a paid member of the channel by hitting the join button below the video, or if you're an Apple user, hitting the link in the description. All right, let's get it. So the song we're going to learn today is Cochise by Audioslave. And honestly, this can be done with any song, but I just chose this one at random, so whatever. So here we go. I'm going to show you the bass line. It sounds like this. And here's how you play it. Okay, I'm going to go, I'll just play through it really, really slow. I'll show you the frets, and if you need to rewind, go ahead and do that. Here it is. Okay, so that's the bass line, all right? But learning the bass line is not really the crux of this lesson. Here's where we're going to start. The first thing we're going to extrapolate from this bass line is the shape of the bass line, all right? So let's take a look at the shape of this bass line. Now, when I'm talking about shape, I'm just talking about the pattern of frets that you go through to play the bass line. That's it. And the cool thing about the bass is that you can play any shape of notes and move it to another fret, and it's going to sound the same no matter where you put it on the bass. So for example, if I were to play, this shape here, right, that right there, go up a string and up 2 frets. If I put that anywhere on the bass, because the bass is consistent all the way through, it's going to sound the same. Hear it? It's got the same sound to it, right? So in this bass line, the shape looks like this. Check it out. We go from the first note, which is an E, right? We're going to go down 2 frets, across a string, back to that note, back to the previous note, down to the next string, and open. And it looks like this. All right? And then it's the same thing again, same shape. Okay, now that we've got the shape and the pattern of frets, let's move that somewhere else on the neck. And what's going to happen is, again, it's going to have the same sound. Here, I'm going to move it to this 7th fret A here. Do you hear how it's got the same vibe, right? Think about the implications of that. It means that anytime I'm playing in a song that has this same vibe, which I would describe as like what? How would you describe it? Maybe like dark and rockin'? I don't, you know what I mean? Like however you would describe this vibe, the sound of this song, I can go to any root note and use these notes and it's going to sound good. And even better than that, I can put these notes and this shape in any order, and I'm going to come up with 1,000 different things. Check it out. So if I play this same shape, that's the shape from top to bottom. If I play it from bottom to top, here's what it sounds like. Right? I can make a bass line out of that. That's using that shape. I'm getting the same kind of vibe, but a totally different bass line. I can play fills from that. You see? All right. So, like I said, the implications for that are huge, huge. You take that shape, and not only can you play the same thing on different frets, you can now reorder those notes in different styles on different songs. As long as it has that same vibe, it's going to sound great. And by the way, now if we're going to throw a music theory term at you, which is something that's in a minor key. This song is in a minor key. That's what gives it that vibe, okay? It's in E minor. Now you can, if you're playing over any minor chord, you've got that shape under your fingers now, and that's going to work over any minor chord. So there you go. It's like you learned the music theory before you even knew what it was. And that's really the best way to learn music theory, is to learn what the sound is first, or the shape, and then put a word to it. See where I'm going with this? It's pretty cool. All right, so now that we've extrapolated some things from the shape of the bass line, let's take a look at the rhythm of the bass line. And this is a part of music theory that, to my chagrin, is really slept on, because rhythm theory is, like, to me, the most important part of music theory. But let's talk about how the rhythm of this bass line can really help you out on rhythms in general, okay? And that's because we're going to extrapolate two things from it. One, we're going to extrapolate the pulse. And second, we're going to extrapolate the subdivisions of the bass line. All right, so let's start with the pulse. The pulse in music is the heartbeat of the music. It is basically how you would tap your foot to a song. That's it. That's what the pulse is. All right. So on this song, I think there's two right answers for what the pulse is. So for some of you, you would tap your foot like this to this song. Dee doo doo dee doo 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 dee 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 doo doo dee dee doo dee doo 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 dee dee doo doo doo. Right? Okay? That's fine. That's the pulse. All right? For some of you, you'd rather tap your foot like this. Dee doo doo dee doo doo dee dee doo doo dee doo dee doo doo dee dee doo doo doo. That works too. Okay? So that's the pulse. And I want you to pay attention to that. All right? And both of those answers are correct. But from the pulse is where we really get the meat and potatoes of everything here. And that's where we start to subdivide the pulse. Okay, so subdivisions are when you divide the beat into smaller parts, kind of like a ruler, okay? Where you got an inch ruler and you got, 1 inch, and in between that is like 1/4 inch and 1/2 inch and all these little subdivisions of an inch. Well, we're going to do the same thing with the beat here. And to find the subdivisions of a song or of a bass line, I think the best way to do it is to find the fastest notes in the bass line and use that as your subdivision. Okay, so here's how we would do it here. So this bass line, again, I'm going to play it for you. Now, the fastest notes in that bass line, I think, are this fast. That little thing. All right, it's also right here. You see how fast those notes move? Okay, now if I were to take that speed, da 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 da, da 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 da, and just continue that, I'm going to get my subdivision. Hear how it's that fast? Da 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 da, da 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 da. Okay, that's what I would consider the subdivisions of this song. All right, and you can say it in any way you want. I like to subdivide with like taka 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 or whatever you think works. But the key is I want you to figure out what the subdivisions of the song are, because every note in a bass line happens on those subdivisions, exactly on the subdivisions. And when you can put your notes on the subdivisions, that is going to make you so much better as a player. And a lot of people sleep on this. Okay, so I challenge you to find the pulse and the subdivisions in any bass line you play. All right, here it is on this line. Bum ba 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 ba. If you can do that, your rhythms are going to be so much more locked in. Okay? You've probably heard people say playing on the grid before. That's what they're referring to. They're referring to playing exactly on the subdivisions of the beat. And being able to find those subdivisions is super important for any bass line. So go ahead and extrapolate that. All right, finally, the third thing, among many other things you can extrapolate from any bass line, is we're going to extrapolate or attempt to extrapolate the scale from this bass line. Oh boy, scales. Like, dreaded, right? Dreaded piece of music theory. What even is a scale? Well, basically, in a nutshell, the scale of a song is just the notes that sound good on it. It's just like any note that sounds good could be in the scale. A scale, technically, is a set of notes that go from one note. In this case, let's go from the root note here, which is a low E, right? Or E. That's kind of like the home note of this bass line. From E to one E above it, one octave above. The notes that sound good between those two notes are the scale, okay? And extrapolating the scale from a bass line has lots of implications that we're going to talk about in a second, but let's go ahead and do that. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you what notes I think sound good in between E, this E, and this E. And I think these are the notes that sound good. I think E sounds good. I think F sharp sounds like it fits. G, A, B, C, D, and E. All right, and to find those, I just basically kind of I put the song on before and just kind of played each note in between E and this E, and just, kind of tried to figure out which ones sound good. But that's all I did. I took a minute on it, okay? I didn't spend a lot of time on it. Don't agonize over this. It's not that big of a deal. But the thing about it is, again, let's go back to the vibe of the song. This kind of rockin', dark vibe that in music theory terms, people would call a minor key. This is what a minor key is. And right now, we're kind of figuring out a minor scale without calling it a minor scale. But we don't even need to call it a minor scale. What we want to know is the shape of that scale. Okay, so that's what we're extrapolating. Just like we extrapolated the shape of the bass line, check out the shape of this scale. Okay, if I take that pattern and put it on other frets, I'm just going to come up one fret with it and start it on F. Hear how it has the same vibe and the same sound? Okay, that's going to tell me that when I play a song or I'm in a part of a song that's using a minor chord, that scale shape is going to work. Those are my options of notes that will sound good. Therefore, I can start to know what notes I can use in a bass line, or I can know my options for a bass fill, or whatever, okay? This is almost a way that you can learn your scales without having to memorize the circle of fourths and fifths and all that stuff. This is a little more of a practical way for those of us who don't need to go and memorize every single scale. Just pay attention to what scales you sound good in the songs that you're learning. And it's it applies to so many different things. Let's see here. Let's take another tune. Let's go another, what comes to mind here? Okay. How about Enter Sandman by Metallica? Okay, super dark rockin' song, right? I don't know why this one came to my mind, but we're going with it. Okay, cool. It's in the same key, all right? It's in the root note is in an E, right? That scale, check it out. That's kind of the scale of that song. Let's start it on the high E. All right. anything I play in that scale is going to sound good on this song. All right, let's say I'm playing it on a gig and I don't know, that sounded kind of cool. Now I know something that I can play on anything that has that vibe. I don't mean to get long-winded about this, but like, think about all of the songs that have that type of vibe to it. Now you know a shape and a scale that works on those things, just from learning this one other song. So, I think that for a lot of bass players, just noticing these patterns in music kind of goes over their heads, I notice. And just paying attention to these three things, again, the shape of the bass line, the pulse and subdivisions of the rhythm, and then trying to figure out the scale that works over a song or a given chord, just has huge implications for learning music in a deeper way and being able to contribute musically in whatever playing situation you're doing, or just really just getting to know the bass better. So, I don't know, go ahead and try this on the next bass line you learn, right? And if you do this 2, 3, 4 times, 5, 6, whatever, you're gonna start noticing some serious connections between certain songs and other songs. And it just opens up the instrument for you a lot better without having to learn music theory in an academic or like a systematic way, So, all right, I hope this was useful for people. Yeah, we'll be back with the next one hopefully next week, and talk to you guys soon. All right, take care.